First thing before this video gets started, warning, disclaimer. I feel like I should put like a little trigger warning here because I'm going to talk about a lot of serious topics that could be triggering to some people, such as self-harm, suicide, stuff around that realm, bullying, that whole shabam. So here is your disclaimer. If you cannot handle hearing about stuff like that, or it sets you off and you can't handle it, don't watch this video. It's fine. I understand. Great, I'm gonna have to close this window because there's cars everywhere. Hey guys, what's up? It's Micah. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you should go down there and subscribe. First of all, I want to start off by saying I just got done being sick, so that's why my voice is kind of raspier than usual, and my nose is peeling. Always before I make any serious video, I tell you guys and I let you know, if serious videos aren't your thing, then this week my video is just not for you, and that's okay. I will be back next week with another video, so you can come and check that out. But if you don't like serious videos and you don't feel like being on a more of a serious topic right now, you should probably click out of this video. Just a suggestion though, you can stay if you want. This is probably going to be the most personal video that I'll ever make. Pretty much. I've planned on making this video, but I never planned on making it this soon in my life. I thought I was gonna make it like after I graduated high school, when I'm more adulty, if that makes sense. This video is for my literature class. We're doing a multimedia project on injustices, and the injustice that I chose was bullying. I'm just gonna tell you guys the story and all the details of how I became a bully. If you guys watch my channel often, or if you're my classmates that go to school with me in my literature class watching this right now, you might be thinking, Micah doesn't seem like a bully, what? Which I hope that's what you think, because I hope I don't give off a vibe of a bully. You guys will understand as the video goes on. I have a reason for calling it that, and yeah. I am going to warn you now, there's going to be a lot of awkward maybe like giggles, because I laugh when I try not to cry, and there's a good chance I'm gonna cry in this video. I'm not really sure. I am already sweating because I'm nervous, and I apologize for that because I'm a gross mess right now, but I didn't want to put on too much makeup for this video just because this is more of a serious personal video, and I don't want to try to look all like dolled up and stuff with a bunch of makeup on, because this is a really raw video, and there's probably not going to be too much editing to it. My goals for this video before we get started is, if you are a bully yourself, I really want you to watch this video, and I want you to notice that what you do and your actions, even though they may not affect you, they can really affect someone else. Even the smallest things can affect someone else's life majorly and change them. And for those of you that are being bullied, what I want you to take away from this video is that you're never alone. There are millions of people out there. There are groups, and you can call places. There's hotlines. I'll leave all the like suicide hotlines and stuff like that in the description. There's always someone that they get you, and you're not the only one going through this, I swear. And I know it feels like it. It feels like you're the only one going through it, but you're not, I promise. I'm just gonna give a brief little backstory of me being bullied, my experience with bullying. 3rd grade is when I started becoming overweight for my age and being a girl, all that shabam. And you know, kids, especially in elementary school, they have nothing better to do than to make fun of you for it. So, certain instances that I can think of that just like really stick out to me. A nickname of mine in elementary school was Blubber the Well. There's that one. This is gonna be hard. Other names such as just like normal ones like Fat, Chubby, Chubs, stuff like that. One certain instance I can think of is one time I dropped my pencil on the floor and I bent down in my chair to pick it up. I kept reaching for it on the floor, and without getting up from my seat, and I just went too far and I couldn't get it, and I fell out of my chair, which is already embarrassing enough, and I was just so like embarrassed and mortified. And someone had the nice, jokingly idea to say that there was an earthquake because I fell out of my chair and I hit the ground. You know, you're in a class full of elementary schoolers. Everyone thinks it's funny. Everyone laughs. And, you know, at the time I'm in elementary school, you know, like I let it get to me and I get sad about it, but it's more confused, like why do they want to pick on me? Like why do they think it's nice to make fun of me? And stuff like that. That continued throughout elementary school, more making fun of me for being fat, being overweight. And I got to middle school. 6th grade was my, like, oh my gosh, the biggest I've ever been. Like, I was huge. Around 7th grade, I stopped getting bullied completely. I may get, like, a remark about me, but it wasn't to the point where, like, I felt like they were, like, verbally attacking me. It wasn't like elementary school. See, and those kids, they probably think it was fun and games, and that, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But that's not the case. Because around 7th grade, like I said, the bullying stopped. And I was really happy for like, I would say like a little less than a month. But then, little did I know, the worst bully of them all was right around the corner, and that was myself. And I know that that may sound stupid to some of you, and you're like, Micah, your title doesn't even make sense, it's clickbait, you didn't become a bully if you were bullying yourself. But that's not true. You can. And I was the worst bully. I was my worst nightmare. You're with yourself 24/7. In elementary school, these kids that were making fun of me and giving me these names, it was at school. And it stayed at school. And yeah, when I got home, I may have thought about it a little bit. And I would be like, why are they making fun of me and all this? But it stayed at school. It didn't really come home with me because I had a good family, you know, that no one picked on me, no one called me fat, things like that. And then now I go from not getting bullied at school anymore, and then I become the bully myself, which is, it comes home with me, and it goes to school with me, and it goes to the store with me, and it's everywhere with me because I'm always with myself. It's your subconscious, and it was brutal because sometimes people have a filter the way they talk to other people. They try to treat other people better. But when it comes to yourself, being me, what was this? 8th grade summer was the worst of it. Right before I hit high school, I had no self-esteem. I had no self-confidence. I had none of that. That was partly because what other people put in my head, and then that I let it play on and I continued it. Anytime I was in a mirror, I wanted to cry completely because I was disgusted with the way my body looked and the way my face looked and the way everything looked and how my arms were flabby and how my thighs were thick, and I hated all of it so much. And don't even get me started when I'd go to the mall or something and try on clothes with my friends and they wouldn't fit. They just weren't the same size, and I had to go to a bigger size away from my friends, and all of this, it sucked. And there would be times when I'd have to sit in a fitting room and break down in tears because I couldn't be like the other girls, and I couldn't get the really cute clothes that were in the skinny sizes and all this. And I didn't just feel bad that I didn't do that. I put myself down. I would talk crap to myself, and I'd say things to myself like, I feel like this sounds like I'm crazy, like I'm talking to myself, but like I didn't actually speak it out loud, but like in my head, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does. It'd be stuff like, why are you so fat? Why do you have to be fat? It was really bad on me emotionally, and it made me depressed. I'll say it was bad. It got bad. But that's not the worst of it. I ended up self-harming myself in so many ways. It did get to the point where I was cutting myself, and I wasn't being careless about it either. I would think like, oh, I don't want my family to see this, I don't want to make them sad, so I wouldn't cut my wrists, I would cut my thighs, because shorts cover your thighs so no one could ever see it. And so I was being more malicious about it towards myself. You know, I wasn't making it where someone could see it and stop me, or someone could see it and tell me to get help. Only I knew. Some would say that's the worst part, but then come back to the whole reason for all of this self-hatred and self-harm was my weight, and it was the way my body looked. I started working out and exercising like, you know, most people should. If you're not happy with your body, you want to change it. So I started working out so that I could lose weight. And I would work out every single day, and it just wasn't happening fast enough for me. I was shedding pounds and I was losing weight, but it wasn't happening fast enough for me, and I was so impatient. I just wanted the weight to be gone. I wanted me to love myself. I felt like if I was skinny, I would love myself, and everything would be better. Everything would be solved if I was just skinnier. And I was like the people online and the people in magazines and the people on movies, and everything would be better if I looked like them. So instead of just exercising and eating healthy, I started exercising all the time, and then I wouldn't eat. And I would go so long without eating. It got so bad, and I would go so long without eating. Through this whole thing, I didn't want to worry any of my family, and I didn't want anyone to know I wasn't okay. And I didn't want anyone to stop me, and I didn't want anyone to try to get me to get help, because I didn't feel like I needed help. I felt like I knew exactly what I needed to do, and it was to be skinnier, and I thought I knew exactly how to do that, and that was not eating. But I couldn't let my parents get worried. I didn't want them to notice something was wrong. So I would eat really small portions at dinner. After I would eat one little thing, I would throw it up. I would go in the restroom and I'd make myself throw it up, so that I didn't have anything in my stomach, because I needed to get skinny, and that's all I kept telling myself, was that I needed to be skinny and I needed to lose weight, and it doesn't matter how I do it as long as I do it. I didn't really care how it affected me as long as I was skinny, and that was the only thing I cared about, because I didn't want to be someone that people could look at and think, oh, she's fat, she's chubby, she's not attractive, I don't like her because she's fat, and all this stuff. And in my head, anytime anything didn't go my way, it was because I was fat. If I had a crush on a guy and he didn't like me back, which happens a lot, by the way, it was because I was fat. And that was my mindset. If something didn't happen for me, it's because I'm fat. If she didn't want to be my friend, it's because I was fat. I had this tunnel vision that only seen to me being skinny. And that was the only thing. That was the only thing I cared about. This was all I was doing. And I didn't have to get up and go to school. I didn't have to see people. I didn't have to socialize. I did hang out with friends. But then at night, even when I was with friends, I was just so depressed that it didn't matter. I wouldn't say that I ever got to the point where I was suicidal, where I actually thought, I want to kill myself. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do anything on this earth. I don't want to be here. But it did get to the point where I was like, you know, if I die trying to be skinny, it's worth it. And that's not okay. That's the same as suicide. If I'm okay with letting myself die for nothing to be skinny. I remember a week when I was pretty much in bed all week, and I was asleep all week because I didn't even have the strength to do anything at all that whole week, and I didn't want to leave my bed. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to do anything. That was all because I bullied myself. And I became the bully, and I told myself those things. I didn't try to make myself feel better. I didn't do anything for myself. I put myself down constantly. Every kind of verbal abuse, emotional abuse, anything, physical abuse with the cutting and everything. I was cutting myself so much worse. I just started thinking about all my family members and how they would be, how my parents would feel, how my nieces would feel. They look up to me, how my nephew would feel. I really thought about that. And I never hurt myself again, and it was a slow process. I got into different ways of hurting myself, and then I had to go through a process of getting out of all the different ways I hurt myself. I stopped doing all of the physical hurting myself, which, looking back, was so amazing, and I'm so glad that I stopped that when I did. So I wasn't doing that anymore, but I was still depressed. And you guys know, I've told the story many times of how I got out of my depression and all that with the whole watching YouTube, finding a purpose in life, all of this stuff. So yeah, I'm not gonna make you guys sit through that again. I was scared that I wasn't gonna know what to talk about in this video, but it was like I was just sitting down with you guys and having a conversation, telling you guys a story from my past. Thank God it's in my past. I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on. I think that's it for today's video. I know this was a lot more of a serious one, but I felt like there was no other injustice that I wanted to do other than this. A lot of people, especially these days with social media and stuff, they don't understand the consequences of their action, and they don't understand that even if it doesn't affect them, it affects someone. And all of these people that are like, okay, you just shouldn't listen to them, you still hear them, and it still gets to you. Going back to the thing I said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words can do a lot. I wasn't really made fun of constantly and bullied constantly. It was just those few people, those nicknames, those couple instances that just stuck out, and they stayed with me. And then from then on, everything got worse. And it just has a ripple effect, and things can go from one little word to, you could go from making fun of a girl one time, telling her one little word, to her cutting herself, her making herself throw up, all of this stuff. And I want to say now, this video is not for pity. I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. Like I said earlier, what I want is for people to know and learn that their actions have consequences, they have effects, whether you think so or not. And for all the people that are being bullied, you're not alone. People are bullied constantly, all the time. It's a sad fact. We can't end bullying unless more people talk about it, more people understand what they're doing. I feel so weird doing my normal outro to this video because it was so serious. On a more normal note, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. There are plenty more videos to come. I post new videos every single week. Also, I post a new video every single Tuesday on my collab channel, Our Common Youth. All of those links will be in the description. If you ever need to talk to me, maybe you want to talk about your experience, your story, anything like that, you can always DM me or give me a message on any of my social medias. Those are always linked below, and my inboxes are always open. None of my accounts are privated. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and remember, keep your head up.